back to Stark Reality Garage. I've got another MR2 project. Been daily driving this thing for a while. It's doing great, but finally came across a deal I couldn't pass up, and it results in a nice upgrade for the car. So I picked up Power FC from Apexi with a little controller. Got this off of Spyder Chat. If you're not on Spyder Chat and you've got a Spyder, you know, you're missing out. So got this off there. It's used. And then sent it off to Monkey Wrench Racing, and for 25 bucks they'll tune it. And since I got my exhaust and my intake from them, they tuned it specifically for that. So I'm going to swap this in for my old Celica CPU, which has been fine other than that swap that I had to do to the brown injectors. But other than that, it's been fine. So it'll be really interesting to see the impact this has. This should have huge impact in the mid-range and on torque, and so I'm excited to see how it feels. Might be a little tough to measure, and maybe I'll flop in the little chart that Monkey Wrench has as to what this will do for you. Pretty simple swap. The hard part is just pulling all the plastic apart to get to it, and then the swap itself is pretty straightforward. So here we go.
This chart shows the difference between the old ECU and the new one. The solid lines are the new CPU for Power FC.
All right, so you're going to want to flop the top down. It's just so much easier, and open the door and all that kind of good stuff. And the computer is underneath behind that cubby in the back. So you got to remove the plastic stuff here, and then you got to remove the little back wall that's there, and then the computer's on the firewall right there. So it's been a while since I've done this, but essentially it's just a bunch of screws, and I think there's a couple little push button little thingies in there as well. So we'll work on getting all those removed and get in there. All right, so pulling out the plastic bits, there's just a couple of pieces, and you get the 5 little screws. That's the easy part, but what I forgot was this little back panel runs the whole length, and so you kind of have to remove that piece as well, that side, to get that out of the way so that you can lift this up, because it just doesn't want to lift on its own. It'll be great so they put a little crease there or something so you can get it open, but there's the computer right there. You just can't quite get to it until you open the whole thing up. So I'll pull all the rest of the pieces out and we'll get it okay. Once you get all the plastics out, you can see in there, flip your top up a little bit because it puts pressure on this cover back here. And then all you have to do is just lift this up and out of the way, and you can get to the 3 bolts that hold it in. There's one right there. They're just little 12 millimeters. There's one right there, and unscrew those, and these little brackets are attached to the computer, and then you just slip it right out, and you've got all the wires attached. You can unplug those, and we'll be good to go. All right, so I just noticed something. Number one, these 2 computers are different sizes. So the new one, the Power FC, is on the bottom, so it's a lot smaller case, but it also does not have any spots for screwing in the brackets. Obviously, this could go in different cars. So I'm going to have to find a different way of securing this. Maybe I'll just Velcro it onto the back wall. I don't know, I'm going to have to look at it. But so you can just leave the brackets on this computer, and obviously swapping these out is just a matter of unplugging them and plugging them back in. Oh, and the other thing you need to do is disconnect your negative battery terminal before you do this, because you don't want a power surge or anything to knock out your computer. That would be bad. So see if we can find a spot for this. All right, so I got it all put in there. I ended up just using some Velcro pads, 2 of these, stick it to the back of the computer, and then peel off the other side and stick it in. And I think it's lifted up here. So it's in there really quite well, and then just plugged it all back in again. So it's in there pretty secure. This leans up against it, so I think we'll be okay. So we'll see how this goes. And now I just put it all back together in, plug in the battery, and we're good to go. All right, so I got it all put in, got the battery back up again. Before I put all the plastics back in and stuff, make sure this thing works. So first start. All right, so the one last thing is the commander, which is that little guy right there, and it just plugs in right on the bottom here. The little, I don't know, like an RCA plug basically. So that plugs in, and that'll let you monitor everything. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that on the dash or if I'm just going to keep it in the back or what I'm going to do, but I'm certainly going to have it set up now. There are some good videos out there. I think Mitch I don't know if it's Door or Dore, has a really good one about how to use this, but maybe I'll show you a few things once I get it up and running and everything. But it has a good monitoring feature, so now I'm going to see how this thing rides. All right, so first impressions, I drove it around the block just to get the feel for it, see how it goes. Got the camera hooked up now so I can tell you how it's going. The car is warm now, and it is idling so much better than it did with the old CPU. I think with the intake and the exhaust being different and larger, that the CPU was having a hard time with it, because it would have a hard time idling, and it is idling super smooth right now. So that is the best part at the moment. And now that it's warm, we'll take it for a little spin and see how she goes. All right, so first thing first, it comes off from a stop in first gear much easier than it did before. You had to give it a little juice, get it up off the idle to get it going, but it's going so much easier now. Right out of first, here in the neighborhood. All right, nice acceleration. Oh, it's so much stronger all the way through. It is so much better, especially in the mid. So when you're at like 35 to 45.5, before it was always really kind of soft there, you were just waiting to get to lift. Now it pulls right through it. So much better. There's 4,500. Pulls strong all the way up. Woohoo! This is a good upgrade. So much better than a Celica CPU. So much better. Oh, yeah, you can hold your speed so much better now. I like it a lot. Now down at 3,000 RPMs, but you still hit it and you still go. So much better. So these things can be a little costly. They're not being made anymore, and obviously you have to have it programmed to match your engine mods. Gotta love that lift. You get to it so much easier, and this still has the lift up at 6,000, maybe just over 6,000 RPMs, and but you get to it so much easier, so much easier. Here's a turn in third. Oh yeah, you couldn't do that before. So much better. All right, so now with the Commander, I think probably the only thing I would probably ever tweak might be the where the lift kicks in. So I may play with that a little bit, but where it's at right now is actually pretty nice. So I may try that out for a little bit. You can pull now all the way up to it. Before you always were waiting and waiting to get there. Now it pulls, kicks in and keeps going. It's so much more comfortable. That's a fourth gear from 3,000 RPMs. Just feel it all the way up. This is so much better. Downshift. Now the other thing, I would get some pops, and obviously the air fuel mixture wasn't quite right. on big downshifts, you could get them pretty easy. I'm not getting them now, so it's balanced out that air fuel with the larger intake. And I have the Monkey Wrench Racing intake, and then the PPE 2.5-inch exhaust, which by the way sounds amazing. Hopefully this is picking it up. Yeah, I think for just daily driving this is going to be more enjoyable too. With that big hole in the mid-range gone basically, way more comfortable. Back in. Alright, nothing but a thumbs up for this. I'll put all the plastics back in. I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to mount this. That's something I still got to figure out. This had a little Velcro. Somebody else had Velcroed it up. These can be a little steep new, but if you're patient, I found this one used, saved myself about 400 bucks. So, and the programming for Monkey Wrench is $25 in shipping. So that's a no-brainer. So I love this. This is a great upgrade. You should look into it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.